Yes, that's fine. Where is she? Oh, Hare Krishna. Dandavat, Dandavat. I hear the hum. Oh, maybe it's the closet fan. Okay. Yeah.
Govinda, Govinda, Govinda.
Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai.
Oh, Jai Shri Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Sri Govardhana Puja ki jai.
Jai.
Jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhakti
Jai.
Bhakti Sudhir Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai. And the manifestation day of Govinda Kunda in Gupta Govardhan, Chiang Mai, Thailand ki Jai.
Yeah, jai.
We were very happy to witness it from this side of the world, Maharaj.
We were very happy to witness it here.
It appeared that way indeed.
And just as he's saying this, I realize we need some lights.
On the way.
All right. For the evening. So Maharaj, you can situate us and welcome those who are joining.
Well, Maharaj, I think our situation is that we are at Gupta Govardhan. We have come over the last few days. Some have come back to Govardhan, I heard. I heard that, for instance, Sulakshana was given some instruction by Paramananda. Oh, if you have 4 days free, you can do Govardhan Parikrama every day for 4 days. Some already made it to Govardhan a few days ago. And the rest of us perhaps came early in the morning or yesterday evening to Govardhan and here for the Abhishek and the worship of Govardhan Hill in remembrance of Krishna's Leela here. So we're in Govardhan at our temple, Srila Sridhar Swami Seva Ashram, and as always, first we're coming to Guru, we're coming to Srila Gurudev's Pushpa Samadhi, and we give our obeisances here, and then come through to the main temple of Sri Anu Giriraj. And Maharaj, we are in a grand assembly of Vaishnavas, headed by our dear Srila Goswami Maharaj, and Goswami Maharaj is our MC. I'm the I don't know what I am.
How about the SC, Servant of Ceremonies?
Servant, oh yes, not an MC. Very good, Maharaj, very good. Servant of ceremonies. And I can say that we feel already from around the world, I mean, wonderful news from different devotees and devotees signing in, and very much a feeling of very glorious, very happy days, and headed by this day of Govardhan Puja, and the devotee communities, everyone's kind of joyful. And it struck me too, Maharaj, that really it is only the last few years that are all over the world, Govardhan Puja is now taking place. Abhishek of Giriraj is taking place, the Giriraj Shilas. And Govardhan's glories have become literally worldwide fame. So it's very auspicious for planet Earth. The auspicious things, really auspiciousness is only connected with Krishna and the Vaishnavas. So these auspicious waves are continuing in a very happy way throughout the world. Wonderful time. Yes, Maharaj, may I pass the microphone to you? And with you don't need an introduction, Maharaj. But however, we can say our most capable presenter of what is Govardhan Puja and what is the significance of this day, of course, in the line of Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, and Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in our line, our dear Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj, we humbly ask you can say a few words, Maharaj, and tell us how you'd like to proceed for today.
Hare Krishna. With glorification of Govardhan in all of its divine aspects, and as Maharaj is telling, it's so significant to our line, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. We know in Puri that sometimes in the Gangbira room, which we should remind everyone, has no windows, 3 doors, but the doors are sort of kept permanently locked except for one, some coming and going, the devotees doing the seva. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in there. And remember, Gangbira means deep. Like Guru Maharaj is always telling, dive deep into reality. Well, Mahaprabhu is diving the deepest into the ecstatic emotional interior of Srimati Radharani, what we tell Mahabhav. And when we reach Krishna Prem, first of all, Rupa Goswami is saying, where does it begin? Shraddha Sadhu Sangha. But where do you get Shraddha if not from Sadhu Sangha? Guru Maharaj explains that. Why apparently it comes second, but really it's first. Then more Sadhu Sangha means awakening this sense of prospect within us. That's what happens when we come in connection with Krishna consciousness and we hear from the devotees, this sense of prospect, some mysterious internal joy that another sort of life is possible beyond what we've experienced here. And Guru, a life of love with Krishna, the Lord of love in Vrindavan, and that he will not be in the clouds or in the periphery, but at the center of friendship, familial affection, Madhura Rasa, the conjugal pastimes. Krishna is always in the center of these things. And as the lady said in Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, the visiting disciple of Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, we're being given the opportunity to have a family life with Krishna. And Guru Maharaj said, that so much touched my heart. And for so many years, Guru Maharaj would mention that. And Gurudev would mention that in their talks. So when we say Ishavasham, the generic God-centered, but more specifically, Krishna-centered and Krishna-loving people. And so we hear, so Mahaprabhu, what I was going to say, when he's plunging the depths of Radha Bhav, sometimes in the company of Swarup Damodar and Ramananda, sometimes he's there alone, devotee posted outside. And if sometimes they hear piteous wailing or him, the intensity of his separation from Krishna, rubbing his divine lotus face into the walls, or they hear some sounds, and it's, very disturbing in one sense to them, but at least they know he's there. But sometimes when it's totally quiet, that's when they're worried. If they hear him chanting, singing, they can, he's, relishing Krishna consciousness from the position of Srimati Radharani. But if it becomes totally silent and they don't detect that he is resting, they're worried. So they will go get Swarup Damodar. he comes, they open the doors, and although there's no way that you could possibly escape, he's not there. And then Swarup Damodar will lead a torch-lit party to try and find Mahaprabhu. Sometimes they find he's plunged into the ocean there, as Guru Maharaj said, that broad blue ocean of Nilachala. Another name for Jagannath Puri, we're talking Purushottam Ketra. So taking it to be the Jamuna, he's there. It's called Brahm, which generally we say means illusion or mistaking one thing for another. So that's a problem for conditioned souls. And Mahaprabhu, it's the inverse. He's seeing we see the infinite as finite, and that is our fault. He's seeing everything which is apparently finite as infinite. And not only generic infinite, but taking the ocean to be the Jamuna. Then we're told the Chatak Parbat, sand dunes, he's taking to be Govardhan. So it's a particular angle of vision. And Guru Maharaj reminds us, the seva is to acquire the proper angle of vision, how to see. So through the eyes of whom? We don't trust our own eyes. Like this old saying about, are you going to trust me or your own eyes? And that's supposed to be the joke. But actually, in spiritual circles, it's not a joke. It's the fact. Like when Guru Maharaj says to Gurudev, you listen to me or your mind. Right? So it means we see through the eyes of the devotees. We see through the eyes of devotion. Premanjana Chorita Bhakti Vilochanena Santak Sadeva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Right? So it's saying, in the hearts of the devotees, Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Well, are they seeing the Paramatma? They say, oh, the Lord in the heart. Yes, no, that's not what it says. What is in, so Premanjana, when the eyes, and meaning the spiritual eyes, are anointed with the salve of prem, of love for Krishna, then what is the Hridayeshu of Kayanti seeing in the heart? Yang Shama Sundaram Achintra Guna Swarup, the inconceivable, beautiful form of Shama Sundar Krishna. So we're told, when Mahaprabhu goes before Jagannath, that's who he sees, Shama Sundar Krishna. The ocean as Jamuna, the sand dune as Chatak Parbat, as Govardhan. So he is seeing things like gopi vision through the eyes of the Braja Gopis. That is our aspiration, to see things the way they see things. Their focus is Krishna exclusively, to the elimination of all other things. We're told they even dismissed when Krishna tried to trick them, showed 4 arms, and from a distance they thought it was Krishna. When they arrived closer inspection, 4-armed Narayan, and they're like, it says, Ragodaya Kunchati. They could not conceal the disappointment in their hearts. And if you think about this for a minute, you know, Krishna, 64 qualities, Narayan, 60. Narayan is also inconceivably beautiful, right? But those 4 other qualities, the flute, the sweet sound of the flute, that sometimes hearing the, it's interesting, always 2 directions. One, sometimes hearing the flute, and saying the nectar of the sound of the flute enters the ears of the peacocks and they start dancing madly. Other times when they're dancing madly and then Krishna sounds the flute, they become stunned. They can't dance. And neither can. All living beings, the whole animation are just stunned. And everything in Vrindavan has stopped and is just mesmerized by the sound of Krishna's flute. Other times hearing it, driving them into mad ecstatic dance. And so those peacocks see the feathers that they've shed, and particularly head feathers and stuff, they look at Krishna and see he's wearing one. And they think, oh, our Krishna, look, he's wearing a peacock feather, Barhapidam Natabara, etc. So Mahaprabhu is Krishna. Now he's seeing through not only, Gopi Bhav, but the Mahabhav of Srimati Radharani. He's seeing things the way she sees them. Right? So when we look to the Bhagavatam and we hear about the Govardhan, how do the Braja Gopis see Govardhan? There's a beautiful verse there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and a chapter called the Venu Gita, the Song of Krishna's Flute, which also appears again with Mahaprabhu and Antya-lila of Chaitanya Charitamritam, is quoted again in the Brihad Bhagavatamritam of Sanatana Goswami. Then we can understand it's very special. And it's describing Govardhan, but from the way they see him. And as usual, they like to conceal their own relationship with Krishna. So they're always pointing to others and saying how wonderful that is and how much joy, ecstatic joy is being produced for them. The friends of Krishna and Balaram and the cows, and they always sort of allude to themselves at last. So in that verse, it says, Hantaya Madhya Lavala Haridasa Bharja, Yad Rama Krishna Charanas Parasha Pramoda, Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayas Tayoryat, Pani Yasuya Vasakanda Rakanda Mulay. So they describe Govardhan as Haridas Varja. This is peculiar. We were telling earlier today that when Krishna convinced Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd boys to stop the Indra Yagya and take all the ingredients and offer them to Govardhan, and when they're doing that and giving all the offerings and the mounds of bhog, that suddenly they look and although Krishna is with them, they look and see that Giriraj Govardhan is Krishna. And the thousands of arms coming out, with short arms, long arms, medium size, reaching and taking each offering. Like that. Imagine all this bhog being offered in different places, and arm goes out, grabs some of that, arm over here, arm, taking all this, and they realize, and Govardhan says, Krishna says, I am Govardhan, I am Krishna. And so they have this realization that he's non-different than Krishna. But there's Anu Giriraj. And see how sweet that is. Anu means small or junior. So Gurudev always saying, what is the proper approach? The outskirts of Vrindavan, like Uddhava Asamaho Charanarenu Jashamahangsham, the least position. But then Krishna had another idea. Rupa Goswami so Gurudev showed the proper approach. He's on the outskirts of Vrindavan, then taken into the Seva Kunj area. And Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj Ki Jai. So in Govardhan, he's saying, a field near where the gopis attend the various daily activities. and they want to get one, like a Govardhan Shila, they're digging the land and find this massive Giriraj Govardhan. But what does Gurudev do? To show respect to the famous Govardhan Shilas that have been there for 5,000 years and longer, he's not competing. Rather, he wants to go in a humble way. So although this Giriraj Jai turned out to be massive, he gives him the name Anu Giriraj, so we can see he's not really small, but like junior. He's junior to the other ones who've been established there. Although we do find out he himself has been there for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So, but the gopis are saying something different. When they see Govardhan, they're saying, Haridas Varja. He's the best Haridas. Haridas means servants of Hari, servants of Krishna. So wait, what does that mean? So Guru Maharaj said, similar to Mahaprabhu, Giriraj Govardhan is in the mood of a devotee. As Mahaprabhu, he's unto Krishna Bahir Gauram, internally Krishna, but externally Gauranga. So same thing with Giriraj Govardhan. It's Krishna, but Krishna in the mood of a devotee, providing various services, such as the sweet water, the sweet grasses, the caves, etc. So Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur says there's three who qualify for Haridas Varja, the best. One, he said, is Yudhisthira Maharaj. He's also considered. The other is Uddhava, as we just mentioned. And the third is Giriraj Govardhan. So they're praising that way and saying, Rama Krishna Charana Sparasha Pramoda. And look how ecstatic you are at the touch of the lotus feet of Rama and Krishna. And you're supplying the water and the sweet grass for the cows and water. Krishna and Balaram can wash their lotus feet there, bathe the cows. And they also say, Kandara Kandamulai. And there are these mysterious caves, which they don't go into detail about, but we hear in Garga Sangita and other places, they're constructed of jewels, they're lit by jewel light, and their secret pastimes take place there. So that's how they're expressing their appreciation. But, and Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur says, but about how ecstatic Govardhan is to the touch of the lotus feet of Krishna, that the stones melt, right, in ecstasy. And we see that footprint of Krishna that's worshipped by Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, it's now at the Radha Damodar temple, the melted rock from the touch of the lotus feet of Krishna. So he says that. Then he says the grasses and other plants, they're like Govardhan's hair, and they're standing on end in ecstasy. And then he says, the waterfalls are tears of prem coming from the eyes of Govardhan. So think about that. Tears of love, they're streaming as waterfalls. They're from the eyes of Govardhan. So then Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, in looking at the same verse, because all the devotees, like Guru Maharaj says, quoting the sloka, Govinda Abhida Mandarastira Hastasti Ratnadiva, Sanatana and Rupa holding Govinda like a jewel in their palm. When they rotate it, some light flashing this way, some light flashing that way. So Sanatana Goswami giving another type of illumination. He says, Rama Charana and Pramoda. Here, instead of Rama, meaning Balaram, the gopis, it also means Krishna to them, but like Ramante and Ramanam. So they say that Krishna, but Charana can also mean his pastimes, his sweet pastimes. And Rama also means beautiful and enchanting. And Pramoda means happy. So he says, Govardhan is happy to be the place for all these sweet pastimes of Krishna that do what? Attract people to come and Sparasha, come in touch with the lotus feet of Krishna. So that's the way they're seeing this. And we discussed earlier that Krishna's kindness and mercy upon his devotee, Indra, and everyone, multi-functional pastime, but all predicated on joy and expanding ecstatic joy. So Indra, although a devotee, king of heaven. He has some ego, you know. And as Krishna convinced the Nandamars and the others to offer all of the paraphernalia for Indra Puja to Govardhan, and Govardhan happily accepted them, and they're with the cows and calves circumambulating Govardhan, and Indra is upset. His ego has been bruised by this apparent insolence. And these grown people, under the influence of a precocious child. But if ever there was a precocious child, it's Krishna. Right? So Indra, we told that these clouds that he sent, they're the clouds that are reserved for the end of the world. Those are the Samvartaka cloud. Sends them, and the lightning bolts, the thunder, and they're all crashing upon the earth. Columns of rain coming down, the cows trying to protect their calves. They're all shivering in the cold, the wind's blowing, and they're all running towards Krishna's house. And when they approach Krishna, you know, the Braja Sharanam, as indicated in Bhagavad Gita, when he says, Sarvadharmam parichaja mamekam sharanam braja, reverse it, Braja Sharanam means whatever difficulties the devotees find themselves in, their solution is to take shelter of Krishna. We were saying recently, that's like our emergency, you know, on the red and white sign, in the event of emergency, take shelter of Krishna. So they're having this emergency, extreme emergency, and what is their strategy for safety? To just approach Krishna and take shelter of his lotus feet. They say, Krishna, Krishna, Mahayogi. That's where they call him that. And so they're approaching Krishna, and we're told by the Bhagavad commentators like Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur that the anxiety that is produced in the devotees produces a superior type of love and affection at that moment. Right? Just as sometimes we say, Vaikuntha, which one meaning is unlimited, but another meaning is without anxiety. Right? Kunta means anxiety. Vaikuntha, you know, people think, yeah, we want to go to that world that's just Shanti, 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 Sabai, you know, Vaikuntha. But Guru Maharaj says Vaikuntha is the lower hemisphere of the spiritual world. So in the upper hemisphere, Goloka is full of anxiety. Somebody say, well, it is? Is that a good thing? You know, when the milk's boiling over on the stove and Yashoda puts Krishna down to go tend to the milk, and that causes Krishna to cry because she's in anxiety. Why? She's saying, that milk is for Krishna. It's very important to do this seva. She's setting Krishna aside to attend to her service, right? And repeatedly in the pastimes of Krishna, whether it's Kaliya-lila, devotees in anxiety, mother and father fainting, Aghasura, you know, some say, they think they're in a theme park. It's a gigantic serpent. And someone says, is this some sort of a theme park? Someone says, no, I think it's a giant snake with his mouth open come to swallow us. Okay, well, then they go, but Krishna is here. Okay, and they sing, you know, fluting, singing, dancing on the tongue of Aghasura, his mouth open, eyes looking down. He's saying, all right, I've got them. And then Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala, so attracted to his devotees, he'll go in. We know how that ends. Not only were they on the verge of death, they died and were brought back. All the pastimes have some high level of anxiety in it that puts the maximum pressure upon the heart. And it's at that point, because the devotees will seek no other shelter. Guru Maharaj deals with this in the Prapana Jivanamritam, this point about not seeking another shelter, right? And Madhavendra Puri's famous verse, where he's saying, you can say I've joined a cult. You can say I've lost my mind about, joining the Krishna consciousness movement. He goes through the list of all the things that people say in the negative. And he said, I have something you can add to the list. And that is that what I joined for, I don't have it yet. I haven't achieved. So put that on your list. The very thing that all the things you mentioned, you accuse me of, add to that. I don't say that I have that thing. But Govinda Padaspriham, he said, but I'm not budging an inch from this aspiration to serve and achieve the holy lotus feet of Govinda. And Guru Maharaj said, that is a devotee. Like Radharani, Adarshana Marmahatam Kurotuva. If it is your pleasure not to reveal yourself to me, then that's my happiness. Whatever makes you happy. If that makes me brokenhearted, it's okay, as long as you're happy. That's the level that she's showing. So Guru Maharaj would say, he'd say, if you think that you're Krishna conscious to any degree, he wouldn't only say that that's unhealthy. Guru Maharaj would say, you're finished. Right? And we all know, from time to time, we might be deluded into thinking that we're Krishna conscious. Guru Maharaj is of another, he goes, you're finished. He said, but when you can admit that after all this endeavor, all these years, that you've not achieved that, but simultaneously, you have no other shelter. You seek no other shelter. He said, then you might just be a devotee. He didn't say, then you are. Then you might just be a devotee. So that's the standard. They have no other shelter. It doesn't matter what they hear of the world or what seems sensible from a rational point of view or a worldly point of view. They're only in this singular vision. What is pleasing to Krishna? And if attempting to please Krishna brings us into conflict with the world, we accept that, but we're not going to budge an inch from our position. So Krishna, seeing that in these life-threatening circumstances, that they seek no other shelter but his lotus feet, then he comes out of his house with the beautiful turban. The son Hariki Shakti makes like a sheltered archway from his doorway to Govardhan Hill, so not even a drop of water gets on his turban or his cloth. And with his left hand, he lifts up Govardhan. It said the way a child plucks a mushroom, and it becomes an umbrella, and he calls all the brijbasis, the cows and calves, to take shelter under Govardhan, right? Which we're told was not that big at the time. It was not big enough to fit everyone. So Govardhan has inconceivable potency, can do whatever it's like, Krishna himself. So Govardhan started expanding to 50 kilometers wide. Everyone fit easily under there. And we know Krishna holding, the cowherd men assisting with their sticks. You see it, Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. There you go. A relief on the outside of the Nat Mandir, this very pastime, right? Because it's Sri Gupta Govardhan. And Krishna, for 7 days, he's holding that. And then Indra realizes he had a change of heart. Internally, he starts realizing this is not just a precocious child. It's the Supreme Personality of Godhead playing as a child. Muhyanti Yatsuraya. The Aprakrita-lila of Krishna is very difficult to grasp, even bewilders the devatas. So we had Brahma Vimohan Lila, now Indra Mohan. So Indra stops all the lightning bolts, which up to this point, Chakrabarti Tagore says, Govardhan was accepting like flower offerings, right? It was very nice. Like, It's a lightning bolt. Oh, so sweet. See, it contradicts, by hearing these things, it will contradict rational thought, right? And take you into transcendental thought, another way. That's why it's important that we hear these things. So at the end, when Krishna then tells everyone, all right, now it's safe to return, they all come out, he sets Govardhan Hill down, and it's exactly to the atom where it was before. Not a little to the left, a little to the right, exactly where it was. And then we're told some cowherd men who are simple-hearted souls, they come forward and they start massaging Krishna's left arm. Because I think 7 days, you know, and even like cracking his knuckles to release, you know, and Krishna, it's starting to, it's coming back to me. That's a Prakriti-lila. You imagine if Brits Bazi, they're like, and then of course and it mentions, because this Sparsha Pramoda, that all of this touched the hearts of the Braja Gopis. They were just so happy. And while holding that, sometimes we're told out of the corner of his eyes, Krishna seeing Radharani and Braja Gopis and trembling a little bit, and it's like tilting, and then, whoa, and the cowherd men with their sticks. There's always some drama. So that Govardhan is the target of the Prayojan Tattva charge of this line, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. He's indicating where our ultimate destination is. And remember this, Mahaprabhu had a Govardhan Shila, right, in Puri, right? And what would he do with that Govardhan Shila? Remember, to him, it has the aroma of Krishna, which we're told is inconceivably intoxicating, right? And that he would smell his Govardhan Shila, put it on his heart, told, like with his thumb, hold it on his heart like that. And you can see at the Gokulananda temple, the imprint, that he would put it on his head sometimes, and just like embracing this small Govardhan Shila. Guru said, you know, that proving like a part of the infinite is infinite, right? One Govardhan Shila is the whole of Govardhan. Like we're so fortunate to have Giriraj Govardhan here. And then there are so many Giriraj Govardhans. But so Mahaprabhu in Puri, it's significant that who does he give the Govardhan Shila to but Raghunath Das Goswami, the best student in the Rupanuga line, and the Prayojan Tattva charge is saying, where is our ultimate goal? Govardhan, Nija Nikata Nivasam, Dehi Govardhanatvam. There's that Govardhan Dasakam, so many beautiful verses there. And so Das Goswami, after the Mahaprabhu and Swarup Damodar left, he felt he had lost his reason for living. That I will go have darshan of Radha Kunda, and then I will go have the darshan of Giriraj Govardhan, and then hurl myself and finish this. Like it's of no use anymore. If I have no prospect of Radha Dasyam, which I get from Mahaprabhu and Swarup Damodar. And then we're told he finds Rup and Sanatan and said, oh, they are Mahaprabhu and Swarup Damodar here in them. So he continues with his life and transfers the full wealth of Swarup Damodar and himself to Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, and that becomes Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam. So we may think, we will hear Radha Kunda, that is the highest of the holiest places. Why are our Guru Varga putting so much emphasis on Govardhan? Das Goswami, also Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in his final days, there was this Panda, his name was Balaram, and his son actually arranged for our Govardhan ashram. And just as a side point, they could not have, they wanted a son, this family, so they came to Guru Maharaj, and he gave some blessing, and this gentleman appeared in this world. But anyway, so his father, Balaram, was the Gaudiya Math Pandit for Saraswati Thakur. And Saraswati Thakur told him after one Brajamandal Parikrama, Balaram, get a place, because I will come here. I'm going to come and do my bhajan here. It was kind of a mysterious thing to say. Then the time of the passing of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came, and everyone was at that time, of course, and in anxiety, anticipating this. And that Balaram Panda had a dream, not hearing the news yet. He had a dream in which Saraswati Thakur appeared before him and said, Balaram, I've come. And what he said before, to do bhajan. So he said, Balaram, I've come. So he sent a message to devotees, any news about Prabhupada? And they said, oh, don't you know, Prabhupada left the world, on December 31st, 1936, January 1st, 1937. So Saraswati Thakur indicated Govardhan. Then His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And you can see Prabhupada lying on his disappearance bed with Jayadvaita Swami holding the dictaphone microphone. And Prabhupada's translating the Bhagavatam and giving commentaries. It's incredible. And what is it up to? 10:13, which is the Brahma Vimohan Lila, and 10:14, the prayers of Brahma. This is how, it has its significance too. That's how far he goes in the Bhagavatam. Right? So then Prabhupada, to the, how do you say, it was horrendous for the devotees to hear. Prabhupada said, take me to Govardhan. Like he realizes he's going to leave the world, so he expresses his heart's aspiration to go to Govardhan, and by bullock cart. And then the devotees are thinking, oh no, the bullock cart means 2 wheels, wooden wheels, with a couple of bulls in the front. It's not a smooth ride. And they're saying, please, Prabhupada, don't make us do this. And Prabhupada, then he rescinded that. But he expressed clearly, repeatedly, that was his heart's desire to spend those final moments in Govardhan. Just think, he's at the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan and saying, take me to Govardhan. So it's again, very significant. Then Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, he was telling in his final years, repeatedly saying, I will go to Govardhan, and there with my friends we'll be relishing the slokas, and I will do some composition, and I will have a bhajan kutir, and there'll be the bakul tree and the kadamba, and what other ones? Tamal, champak, and then the 4 vines, malika, utica, the jasmine vines with those trees, and I'll have a bhajan kutir there. And when he was there, he was always so happy and recalling the glories of Raghunath Das Goswami and writing these Giriraj Govardhan Arati 2 and another song in praise of Govinda Kunda, as we had the manifestation here today. We didn't get to sing that song. We would like to at some point this evening, Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj, we would like to too.
All right. So, shall we sing that now?
Wonderful.
Yes, and then we'll read Gurudev's translation. The song we're talking about specifically is Sri Govinda Kunda Gupta Govardhan Arati. And remember, so after Indra apologizes, or when he wants to apologize, it's also a sweet thing to notice. Coming from Chakrabarti Thakur, he's saying he's already been humiliated. So Krishna doesn't want to humiliate him. After all, he is Indra, the king of heaven. So it says Krishna somehow is alone. We know Krishna is never really alone, but showing that. And he's at the foot of Govardhan Hill. And Maharaj knows more than I, but described in different places, Garga Sangita, which part of Govardhan Hill is the face of Krishna, Kusum Sarovar, the eyes, this part is the feet, and so he's at the foot of Govardhan Hill, Krishna, apparently alone. And that's where Indra comes. So it's sort of like to keep his prestige somewhat after he's been thoroughly humiliated. So he can come and offer prayers and beg forgiveness, and comes with from the Golok, not Goloka, but there's a cow planet also. Surabhi comes from there, and Indra brings his beautiful white elephant, Airavata. And so with the two of them, he has Surabhi perform an abhishek on Krishna, and with milk, and her milk, and Airavata, the elephant, summons the Ganga and washes him with Ganga. And it's mentioned there in the Bhagavatam verse that Srila Guru Maharaj likes to quote, the chapter is called Wonderful Krishna and Krishna Book, because after this happens, the cowherd men approach Nanda Maharaj and they're saying, we've been talking a little about what's going on here. If you remember, when he was a baby, that witch Putana came, we may be simple-hearted folks, but, we're kind of making certain observations. So the witch Putana came. Look what happened there. He killed her. Then when he was just a toddler, he turned over the Shakatasura, the cart. Then Yashoda, as Damodar, she tied him to the grinding mortar. He dragged it and pulled down the twin Arjuna trees. And then there's, Aghasura, Bakasura. They go through all, and Kalia. Look what he did there. We're seeing a pattern here. And so they're coming this close to saying what should be obvious by now. And Nanda Maharaj says, all right, listen to me clearly. When he was born, Garga Rishi came and he did his chart. And he said that we were very pious in our previous lives, and so we were blessed with such a wonderful child, and that this boy has had numerous incarnations. In one age, he was of a red color. In another age, he was of a white color. Another age of a golden color. And of another age, and now he's come in this Shama complexion. And he comes to, Paritranaya Sarunam Vinashaya Chaduskritam. And he said that he's as if equal to Narayan. Which is kind of humorous when you think about it. Right? As Brahma says, Narayana Stam Nahi Sarvadehinam. When Brahma is apologizing and go, are you not my father? And Krishna is saying, I'm 5 years old and you're 150 trillion years old. How's that possible? No, because from the navel of Garbhodaksha, all the Siddhanta starts coming out. But he's saying, are you not you're the source of those Narayans. So when he says, he's like Narayan, yeah, same, but different. He has these 4 other qualities that distinguish him and capture the hearts of the Braja Gopis. So anyway, what is this? So when he tells them that placates all the cowherd men. So they realize, oh, so this boy, he's got Narayan-like qualities and ability. So why did they say it? Because with Indra, so the verse that summarizes the whole thing, Deve Varshati Yagya Viplava. See, there's the Varshati means rain, Yagya Viplava Rusha. They stopped the Yagya. Rusha means angry. Brajvasa Barshanilai sent the thunderbolts in the rain. Siddhat Pala Pashu. Pala means the friends. Pashu means these animals. Siddhat Pala Pashu. Striyatma Sharanam. And the ladies, they all took shelter. Dristvanu Kam Utsmayam. Seeing them in this pitiful condition, Anukampam invoked the compassion of Krishna. And it says, Utpatyeka. Then he plucks the Govardhan like a mushroom, holds it up as an umbrella, Shabalo, Liloch Chalendram Jata, Bibrad Gostam Apin, Mahendra Madhibit. Mahendra Madhibit means, Mahendra means Indra, the Maha Indra, the king of heaven. Madhibit means he crushed his ego. And then Priya na Indra Gavan. And Indra turned to him and said, I may be Indra, the king of heaven, but now I understand you are Indra Gaba, the Indra of the cows, the king of the cows. And reverse that, you are Gaba Indra. Join them together, Govinda. You are Govinda. And then Krishna became known as Govinda. Govinda Mari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So in the Garga Sangita, it mentions about Govinda Kunda, which was created after this Abhishek of Indra with Surabhi and Airavata, that in the future, when fortunate souls would bathe there, that sometimes fortunate souls would taste the water as milk. And we saw that, Maharaj knows, at Govinda Kund and Gupta Govardhan and Navadip Dham, that on that festival day, to inaugurate the Jal Mandir, that some fortunate souls entered the waters of Govinda Kund and, sinking boats. Some, just see, in Krishna consciousness, when your boat sinks, it's auspicious. So, and Gurudev, the reason I mention that is because he included that in one of the lines of this song. So we shall now sing it's in the English songbook, page 30, Sri Govinda Kunda, Gupta Govardhan, page 29, Sri Govinda Kunda Mahatmya. So, is this going? Samudra Sambhava Gavi Surabhiya. Right. Samudra Sambhava Gavi Surabhiya Pan. Samudra Sambhava Gavi Surabhiya Pan. Durge Abhisheka Koilo Branjendra Nandan. Say Dugde Purna Kunda Sri Govinda Nam. Say Dugde Purna Kunda Sri Govinda Nam. Ramya Giri Govardhane Shobhe Abhiram. Kunda Bari Mahapapa Hari Se Chinmoy. Snane Pane Baba Baya Tritapa Nashai. Bahu Bhagye Ke Hoshe Dugda Swada Pai. That's the line. Bahu Bhagye Ke Hoshe Dugda Swada Pai. Chidananda Deho Labe Krishna Loke Joy. Shri Krishna Mana Se Jeva Kore Heta Snan. Gupta Govardhana Radha Krishna Seva Pan. Gupta Govardhana Radha Krishna Seva Pan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I mean, I'm going to turn you to speak something next. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Hari Bo. Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Hari Bo. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo. And the one thing I forgot to say, and Guru Maharaj himself says when he's explaining the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Pranam Mantram, says that Gupta Govardhan, that is my eternal residence. That's where I seek shelter eternally. And so now if Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj will say some words in glorification of Govardhan Puja, Giriraj Govardhan.
I'll try to cover quick, but the always perfect representation of Srila Goswami Maharaj is reminding us a path to perceive a Krishna consciousness. There's so many different ideas. Like if you go to Govardhan right now, you see so many Babas and yogis are going around Govardhan Puja. One time I was very impressed. I saw like maybe 10,000 Babas, like naked with rings from Nath Sampradaya. They're all coming to Govardhan Puja, and you would assume, they're like Tyagi, Vairagi, Yogi, Bogi, any kinds of people. But as again, what is the conception of Govardhan? What is their conception? Are there visitors or are they permanent residents? It's just many times we would say, you've got the visa, you might be visiting for some time, but what is the permanent residence? What is their aspiration? So Srila Goswami is very clearly showing us what is the aspiration of those who are residents by Govardhan Hill, not just visitors for any kind of punya, auspicious things. And even there might be sincere spiritual seekers, but we can't compare them to those who are residing by the Govardhan Hill and serving. And it is mentioned, especially in Garga Samhita, that there were so many types of groups of gopis came for the Govardhan Puja, and some of them were women of Ayodhya, sages of Ayodhya in previous lives, the women of Mithila, the celestial Apsaras from heavenly planet, Nagapatni from low planetary system, connect with the Ananta Shesh, so that we can see that there are so many universal beings are being converted into devotional group. However, even amongst them, we can see there are some unique group of devotees, which is we consider our gurus as their assistants. So when they worship Govardhan. Govardhan revealed his divine nature, and everybody saw the divine nature of Govardhan, and everybody's like, wow, now we see this is not just the ordinary mountain, it's something unique because it came from heart of Krishna, but appears like crown of Krishna. So it says the Govardhan is crown has a form of peacock, but at the same time, it's a mystical thing. You know, Govardhan can fly, but it's also crown of Govardhan. It's also heart of Krishna. So it came out of Krishna's heart. What is in Krishna's heart? So Srila Goswami Maharaj mentioned about service and devotion, because this, Krishna said, in my heart, my devotees. Yeah. I don't think of any one of them. They don't think of anybody of me. And then we will say, what does that surround Govardhan? Because we also understand the Govardhan itself very sacred. We don't claim there. Like there's many caves and special pastime places. Like maybe a little bit far away, Raghava Pandit cave, which is a Radha Krishna cave, where Raghava Pandit stayed. It's actually after, I think, Jatipura. You'll see like it's a very, very small place, almost like real cave, but has a little door, a little fixed. But you would think, well, how is the Raghava Pandit would stay here? That actually was his place of bhajan. It's not a very comfortable place, but you would see the inspiration of great devotees to come and spend days. And also you see these twisted trees. Like, you know, nothing is like going around Govardhan Hill and see this divine nature of twisted trees. Even the old trees that technically died there, they're like absolutely transcendental nature. So the block trees, when you're going towards Simhasana, you'll see like the whole block kind of a trees, which describes the gopis. They're stone as the trees. They're like, they were so much astonished from separate, they become trees. So when you go into that Simhasana place between our mat, you know, between our mat and Kushum Sarovar, there's a place, I mean, other places, Uddhava Keri, where Uddhava resigned in the form of grass and creepers, and that other near Simhasthala, near Naradavan, there's a whole block trees, and it says they're the, you know, beloved gopis of Krishna. They're just stone in this condition. You would think like, wow. And this is also a surround of Govardhan, including Radhakund, Shyamakund. So technically speaking, what is like higher? What can you find higher? And when Maharaj mentions, it's very funny about Gopas, when they saw this amazing Govardhan Puja and they've got this glimpse, and then Krishna left Govardhan Hill. And actually, when Krishna left Govardhan Hill, Indra, he's tried to attack. He said, Airavata, all the clouds, you know, Samantaka, you're not good, you're fired, now let me go myself. So, you know, Krishna is coming with, Indra is coming with his Vajra. So he's seeing Govardhan Hill being held by Krishna. So he's throwing his Vajra in Govardhan Hill. What happened is the Vajra like bumped into Govardhan Hill, and like a ball came back and struck Indra's hand, so he couldn't put it back. He's like, and the sparks of this Vajra struck, you know, Airavata, all the elephants, all the assistants. So everybody like ran because they throw the ball and then they run. So when they run, like Indra, he's sitting like in his throne talking to his like ministers and, you know, military advisors, and he can't like raise his hand. They're like, what happened to you? I'm sorry, like I can't raise my hand. So, you know, just like yogis, they raise their hand for Shiva and they can't put it back. So Indra is not only humiliated, kind of, he's in like position where he can't even put his hand back. Disabled. Right, he's become disabled. And then finally, you know, some of the sages and, you know, maybe not, we don't know the details, but somebody's like really started explaining to him, like, look, I think not only we did something wrong, it's super offensive. Then Indra finally, you know, because like as a government people, you know, they think they're big king, that they're gradually realizing, yeah, you know, what I've done is so bad, so horrible. What should we do now? And the answer is like, without mercy of devotee, nothing can be done. There's no way to approach Krishna. We have to please devotee first. And then they thought like, who can we please? You know, this Muni, you know, this Rishi. Then finally, they realize, you know, all this Rishis, Munis, like, you know, they're too intelligent. They're like, you know, we can't really cheat them. We need to please somebody who's like, as Govinda Maharaj said, simple-hearted Vaishnava. Yeah. Then they figured Surabi cow is the best because they brought a bunch of like green grass and give her the food. And while she's eating it, they're like, and by the way, we've got trouble. And like, what kind of trouble? Well, we did some little rain and and like finally Indra's like admitting and telling her, please, mother, you take us to Krishna. And we see the same procession. Before they were running with their weapons, and now they're coming with their offerings. And Airavata and Indra is like, it's a very, very beautiful way that they're coming back to Vrindavan. And, and then the Brijbasis, they were shocked. They're already shocked for Govardhan Puja. They're shocked Krishna lifting whole. Now they're like third wave of shock is coming. They see all the gods are coming. And they're like, hey, like what happened? Did you eat something? Like we never see the celestial beings, but now we see them in the real way and they're coming. And, for some reason, Krishna, like Indra's taking Krishna with Surabi, and as Maharaj said, like in a very private way, there's some, conversation going on. And after that, everybody's dancing and apsaras and everybody got blessings. Then when the inhabitants of Vrindavan saw this, next day they've got meeting and they went to complain to Nanda Maharaj. They said, look, there's something wrong going on here. And he said, like, what's wrong? Well, you and Yashoda have golden color of skin and your son is black. And he's like, hey, and like, you have to really explain to us. But it is not possible that white, two white people can produce a black child. There's no way. Then Nanda said, okay, I really have to admit you. And he started reciting the Gargarishas things. And then they were like so much amazed. And they went to Vrishabhanu Maharaj and they said like, hey, you really have to like stay away from this Nanda. And he said, why? And they said, well, because Nanda had this amazing thing with Gargarisha, but he hasn't told anyone. And, it was like a private thing for Gargarisha came and explained to Nanda position of Krishna, but he's also told you should not tell this to like anyone, even the inhabitants of Vrindavan. They should treat Krishna as they're one of them. They should not treat him as a god. That's like a rule. But Nanda Maharaj, he could not explain this clearly to the inhabitants, so they went to the Vrishabhanu Maharaj. And they complained to him about Nanda. And he said, oh, you should stay away from him. He kind of did not reveal us things. Then Vrishabhanu revealed them. Say, hey, by the way, I have to explain you the whole thing. So he explained them again. And finally they, came down because Vrishabhanu is father of Radharani, and he also explained position of Radharani. This is all in Garga Samhita. But you can see this is a very sweet pastime because it's not coming in a jnana way. It's like agyan. They're constantly being preached by Nanda, Vrishabhanu, Surabhika also, revealed divinity. It's like the whole pastime is going on, that this constant divinity of Krishna is revealed, and pastime in opposition, that they're thinking, well, we need to go here, we need to go there. So finally, glories of Krishna have been revealed from all kinds of sight. That's where we see this Govinda title, but it's a beautiful pastime where even inhabitants of Vrindavan, they could not conceive this pastime. They weren't even like sure how Krishna lived Govardhan Hill, how Giriraj ate everything. It was like achintya, inconceivable. That's what I'm trying to say. So if it is inconceivable for Indra, Brahma, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, what about us? Like, can we conceive this with our physical eyes or senses? And by the way, just to end up the little bit of a story, it says, whoever Govardhan Hill is and Tulsi tree, it's so auspicious, but even people watching Tulsi, they're liberated from all kind of bad things. And all the deities exist, all the avatars, everything exists in one Tulsi leaf. And also it says, who will plant the Tulsi and see Giriraj every day and offer Tulsi to Giriraj will get incredible benefit. So today, not only we've got this incredible benefit, also we've got the Govinda Kunda by Paramananda's Prabhu Grace. So in Govinda Kunda, and of course Kalachand and the team, but in Govinda Kunda it says in Garga Samhita, you can feel the presence of that milk still in Govinda Kunda, and that's why the milk was released. And it says, out of all the kundas, the Govinda Kunda is most powerful to wash the biggest sin. So my question to Goswami Maharaj, what is the biggest sin?
The biggest sin?
Right.
Vaishnava Aparad.
That's right. So biggest sins means, doesn't say it, but as Maharaj said, so this Govinda Kunda has a power of releasing one from the most biggest sin. And Maharaj now revealing what is that. Otherwise, maybe somebody thinks smoking a joint or, getting to bar. Obviously, it's a sin, but the biggest sin is anti-devotional sin.
Yeah, envy of the devotee. Nirmatsaranam satam.
So now
because that means then you won't understand Krishna conception.
Right.
So by pastime, that's the position of Brahma and Indra, not properly appreciating devotion, but they're playing that part to shine a spotlight on devotion.
And also the Govinda Kunda is Madhavendra's Puri special gateway to, so at one point it does wash all the worship of that place, and in other words, it's also a gateway. So that's why this Kund is perfectly situated by left side of Govardhan, the gateway to the temple. So technically you should be coming in, looking, getting darshan of Govinda Kund and coming here to the temple from auspicious side and seeing Tulsi plants and just seeing Tulsi, and it's a whole, we can see that it's gradually manifesting. And amazing thing is every time we go into that road, you see that Chaitanya Saraswat Mat on top. So we always, like to me, it's like I always see this white temple and it looked like Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, but it's so far away and so beautiful.
But that is the proper direction.
Right.
Because we're east of India.
Right.
So this is east. So that means the Mat would be west. So it's actually in the right direction.
Right. So we're thinking of Chaitanya Saraswat Mat as a higher aspiration above our head. And then we're coming here by the foothill of Gupta Govardhan, and this place is also incredible foothill. And maybe Paramananda Prabhu should say something.
Well, I could just say a few words.
Yeah, where's the mic?
Words in the morning about it.
Or,
And we were talking how, in a very mystical way, Srila Govinda Maharaj foreseen this Gupta Govardhan in Chiang Mai manifesting, really, because we couldn't even conceive that it will be here. And nothing was going on in here. And I was astonished to hear it from him. And I remember he asked me one question. He said, there is a city somewhere in the north of Thailand. I said, yes, there is. And there is a mountain. I said, yes, there's many mountains around the city. Yes, there. The Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat proper temple will manifest. And really, it was in 2007. And like I was saying today, I doubted Srila Govinda Maharaj's word. I committed the aparat right there. I thought, oh, maybe Maharaj is saying something whimsically. I was so foolish to consider it in such a way. And then Srila Gurudev later on, and I asked the same question because I was haunted by it. I couldn't understand why is he saying that. So the next time he comes, I'm asking the same question. Immediately comes the answer. That will happen. Next time he comes, again I'm asking the same question. Again, he's very tolerant. He's giving me the same answer. So this is how it's all manifested, including people who will be participating here. I mean, around whom this whole project will be built. And now we can see that it is actually a Gupta Govardhan, and we have a beautiful Govinda Kund manifesting and a beautiful team of the devotees. And really like Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, he's concluding his prayers to Govardhan. Nirupadi Karunena Shri Sachinandanena Tai Kapati Satopi Tat Priyana Pitosme Iti Kalo Mama Yogya Tam Tvam Agrinam Nijanigata Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatam. He is saying, you unconditionally merciful Sachinandan, give me to you. So even though I am deceitful and insincere, do not judge if I am qualified or unqualified, and just give me your shelter, O Govardhan. So this is how Raghunath Das Goswami, in a very, I don't even say, more than a humble way, approaching Shri Govardhan, praying for his mercy.
Yeah, Mahaprabhu gave Govardhan to him. It's a mutual thing. So he's bringing me in connection with you. So you must accept me, right? Because this is the wish of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has brought us in connection with one another.
I would like humbly ask Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, tell us something, because Maharaj was there on so many occasions in Avadhut on this day. So maybe Madhusudan Maharaj, can you hear us?
Your mic needs.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Dandavat Pranam. And actually, can just add like a little bit of the personal side, if you like, of how Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, he was always like very jolly on this day, and would come himself to see the cooks, come himself to see the arati on this day. And it's not that every day, of course, he came at noontime for the arati, but he would come and always joyful. And we can say Navadip also in Dum Dum Park in Calcutta. We've been with Gurudev when this festival's taken place, and he's been standing there and inspecting like the many, many preparations put out in front of the deity. So we know that a good festival also has a good feast to go along with it. And so Gurudev, who better than Gurudev to appreciate a good feast? And Maharaj, all the Maharajas here know that. Goswami Maharaj and Avadhut Maharaj too. But yes, very personal. And our temple means Guru Maharaj's temple, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, begun from Giriraj. Srila Guru Maharaj, when he came to the mat, he had perhaps 2 Girirajas that he brought from Govardhan hill on a recent parikrama in maybe 1940. He was on parikrama, one of his parikramas, to Vrindavan and Govardhan. And there he collected Giriraj, or Giriraj came to him for service. And so our temple of Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, origin is also the worship of Giriraj. And each of our principal temples in the holy places, they are at Govardhan Hill. So it's also not a coincidence, and each of our temples came in its own way. And Nabadip, Chaitanya Saraswat Mat there at Koladeep, Aparada Panjanerpat, beside Gupta Govardhan, and as Guru Maharaj revealed, Govinda Kunda is right there in opposite our temple. And in Jagannath Puri, then there was much difficulty to get land there. And Gurudev had sent different devotees, and there'd been some possibilities of getting land, but not successful. The devotees weren't successful. And Gurudev was a little like frustrated, and he said, we must have a place in Puri. There must be a place for us in Puri, because Guru Maharaj said that in Puri, that we should establish a temple for the devotees. He said, I will go to Puri, and within 7 days, I will get a piece of land. I shall pray to Jagannath that it is my Guru Maharaj's wish. When he went to Puri, then indeed within 7 days he got land. And that land, as it turns out, is there also very close to Chatak Parvat, the Gupta Govardhan, the hidden Govardhan area of Jagannath Puri, Puridam. And Guru Maharaj in Govardhan, in Vrindavan Mandal, Guru Maharaj had indicated there that our temple will be beside the Parikram path, beside Govardhan Hill, at Govardhan. And from there, the devotees, they will go early in the morning before sunrise and pick flowers at Kushum Sarovar. And then from there, go down to give those flowers to the servitors at Radha Kund. And with such special vision, Gurudev saying, Guru Maharaj is seeing us all with this special vision. And that way at Govardhan, in a pretty much you can say exactly the place that fits Guru Maharaj's description of the pastimes of the devotees. That is the principal temple there in the Vrindavan Mandal area. So all of our principal temples in the holy dhams, they are all connected with Govardhan, and we also know nothing is a coincidence, and that there we have the residence of our divine masters, Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and this is the affectionate shelter, as Gurudev would say, the affectionate shelter of the devotees. And one small thing, that is that what realization do we have? We know we have very limited view of everything spiritual, but we are hearing again and again how Govardhan Hill, it's full of, as Goswami Maharaj is describing it, wonderful waterfalls. The first time today I'm hearing that those waterfalls are the waterfalls of prema, of the tears of Govardhan Hill. There's prema tears, as it were. I mean, even adding more wonder to whatever kind of mood or feel we have for the lush nature of Govardhan Hill. So that is the Govardhan Hill, which is, behind what we see, behind the cover that we see. We know we only can see in a limited way with our eyes. But the Govardhan Shilas are fully Govardhan Hill also. And they are being worshipped all over the world. And so somehow or another, it feels like so wonderful that around the world, like this like perfect conception of Govardhan Hill, Krishna himself, the highest Lila places, has come into the sincere service of simple-hearted Vaishnavas, and mercifully, without the need of particular, like the routine, the mantras, the punctual Paka Seva that's required really for the deities, the various deities of the Lord. So Govardhan also very mercifully coming to give opportunity to accept service from the devotees, an opportunity for the devotees to render service in this way. And of course, all by the grace of Guru and Gauranga, all by the grace of our spiritual masters and Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself, showing that worshipable position of Govardhan. The descriptions in Chaitanya Charitamrita too of Mahaprabhu visiting Govardhan Hill and his ecstasy, his affection, his appreciation, showing the appreciation, how we all have to see Govardhan with this wonderful view, a glimpse of the wonderful view that we know that he has got an ocean of, if you like. So today, a happy day. Gurudev would be very happy this day. He would chat about Govardhan Hill, and he would definitely chat about the preparations of Bhoga being offered to Giriraj today. And after the feast, no doubt would have given a little bit of a comment about the types of prasad that were offered and which one was better than which. And yes, following in the footsteps of Srila Saraswati Thakur, which of course all of our guardians are, our gurus are, then he would also say each preparation is better than each other. But still he's able to give a very individual description about each one. So just a few words from me in that line. Dear Maharajas.
Yes.
And dear devotees.
Yes, Maharaj, very beautiful. And I think now I'd like to sing one more song to conclude this evening's program. Jaya Radhe, yes. Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan.
Beautiful, Maharaj.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan. Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan. Kalindi Jamuna Jayo Jayo Mohavan. Keshi Gata Bangshi Bata Dwara Sakanan. Jaha Sob Lila Koelo Sri Nanda Nandan. Sri Nanda Jashoda Jayo Jayo Gopagan. Sri Damadi Jayo Jayo Denu Bhatsagan. Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirti Dasundari. Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abir Nagari. Jaya Jaya Gopeshara Vrindavana Maj. Jaya Jaya Krishna Saka Batu Dijaraj. Jaya Rama Gata Jaya Rohini Nandan. Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Basi Jata Jan. Jaya Dija Patni Jaya Naga Kanyagan. Bhakti Teja Hara Poilo Govinda Charan. Sri Rasa Mandala Jaya Jaya Radha Syam. Jaya Jaya Rasa Lila Sabo Manoram. Jaya Jaya Ujjala Rasa Sava Rasa Sar. Parakiya Bhave Jaha Brajete Prachar. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Shri Govinda Gopinatha Madana Mohan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Hari Bo. Jai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur Hari Bo. Jai Shri Govardhan Puja ki Jai, Shri Govardhan Puja Mahamahotsavati ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai, Jai Saparigar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajakacarya Asatara Sada Shri Srimad Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupad Shri Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai, Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, Jai Srila Paramahansa Thakur, Srila Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupad, Sri Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupad, Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath, Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Govinda Kunda, Giri Govardhan ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham ki Jai, Navadip Dham ki Jai, Shri Govinda Kunda ki Jai, Shri Govardhan Puja ki Jai, Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki Jai, Shri Gupta Govardhan ki Jai, Shri Bila Govinda ki Jai, Om Vishnupad Vishvavarena Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Brinda ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardana Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Kusum Ashram Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Brijai Trivikram Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Srila Bhakti Bimal Avadhut Maharaj ki Jai, Jai Sri Paramananda Prabhu ki Jai, Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi ki Jai, Shri Shanti Mohi Devi Dasi ki Jai, and Munandra Mohan Prabhu ki Jai, Krishna Kanta Didi ki Jai, and the Sannyasi Brenda ki Jai. I can't see the monitor, but Rishikesh Maharaj ki Jai, Mahavir Maharaj ki Jai, Bhakti Ashray Dandi Maharaj ki Jai, Bhakti Vigraha Nyasi Maharaj ki Jai, Sannyasi Brenda ki Jai, Seva Brenda ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Brenda ki Jai, Sri Govardhan Puja ki Jai, Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai, Nitai Go Premanande.
Jai Shri Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. And just to mention that I hope you brought your sleeping bags and toothbrushes with you, that this evening we're taking the magic evening train to Jaipur so that we can be there on time, leave our bags in the dormitory, and then we'll go for Mangalati tomorrow morning of Rupa Goswami's deity.
Jai.
And to continue the pilgrimage to Jaipur, please, you're all invited to join tomorrow, this same Zoom URL, the same time, 1:30. Oh, Italian time, 1:30. Okay. Thai time, 7:30. Indian time, 6 o'clock. And wherever time you are, that time when you started today.
Hare Krishna.
All right, Maharaj.
Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shakira, she was there from the beginning. Dandavat. Praneshri Didi, Dandavat. Nityananda Das doing the Russian translation. Devashish Prabhu, my Dandavats, there in East London. Hare Krishna. Jai, Vijay Krishna Prabhu and all the assembled devotees. Dhananjaya Prabhu, Chaitanya Mai and Rama. Hare Krishna. And Nirupama Devi Dasi Dandavats in Ukraine. Anindita Devi Dasi Dandavats to you. Hare Krishna. Sudha Krishna Prabhu in Los Angeles. Jai, Hare Krishna. Suresh Krishna Prabhu in Riga, Dandavat. Sri Haridas in Brazil, I believe. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Dandavat. Yeah. Sri Lekha Devi Dasi in Salt Lake City. Prem Narayan Prabhu. on his boat sailing across the ocean of nations toward the Vaikuntha world. Nityananda Ram Prabhu in Colombia, Dandavat Prabhu. Nalina Nayana Devi Dasi and Ram Sundar Prabhu. Jai Ram Sundar. And here, Hare Krishna, Dandavat, Tatyana, Dandavat, I don't know, Tulsi, Kamala Devi Dasi, Dandavat, Kum Didi or Dandavats. Nadia Priya and Kamala, Dandavat. And Ravendra Krishna Prabhu, Shama Balava Didi, Dandavat. Maheshri and Sandeep and Janvi, Dandavat. Jai Govinda Prabhu in Ireland. Hare Krishna. Trilokanath Prabhu in Greece, I believe. Hare Krishna. And Brajasundari Didi and Israel. Hare Krishna. And Malini Didi and Urs, Dandavat. Hare Krishna. Subhashini Didi in Ireland. Banavi Didi and Oscar and Italy. Where? In Rome also. All right. Odarjalila and the Ukraine. Dandavat Nidhi. Shamala Devidasi. Dandavat in Petersburg, perhaps. Lakta. Suchitra Dandavat Didi. Lila Sundar Prabhu in Kiev. Dandavat. Saraswati Didi and Lakta with Pritu Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Another Veda Life Israel. Dandavat. Maruchanda Didi. That's Jamuna. Who was here? Okay, Dandavat Jamuna. Hare Krishna. Madhuchanda.
Madhuchanda, Ukraine.
All right. Ragaleka Didi in Petersburg, right? Yes. Kanupriya Didi, Dandavat. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, West London.
Keshavananda.
Keshavananda Prabhu.
Keshavananda there? Oh, yeah.
Dandavat. London can't get enough of the Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. Hare Krishna. Madhavi Lata, she looks like she's in the streets of Petersburg. On Nevsky Prospect. Vijayanti Didi, she's in Chiang Mai, Chenmoy Dham. Isri Didi, Dandavat. Tomsk is Subhada Devidasi and Ekadashi Devidasi, and they're beautiful deities there. Ajita Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat. Indumukhi in Shenzhen, right? She had a beautiful program last night. She's begun preaching, a nice preaching program there of Bhakti Yoga. Right? And there's Bhakti Sevan Rishikesh Maharaj and all the devotees and Abhazia, Dandavats Maharaj, and Tarini Didi and so many other wonderful devotees. Sushmita Didi, Dandavat. She's in China. And which city is she? Lindsay. All right. Well, she's in China. Hunan province. All right. Oh, and Charan Mal's hometown. Charan Mal would love Giriraj Govardhana, I'm sure. Narayani. And which city? Kharkiv. Dandavat. Jai Kumar, there she is. Dandavat Didi. Dr. Jai Kumar Dinadayal. He will take care. If you're suffering material disease or spiritual disease, you go to Dr. Jai Kumar. Radha Sundari, Dandavat. Vinod Bihari Prabhu, Dandavats. Hare Krishna. Did we miss anyone? All right. All right, so we like to give our obeisances to all the Vaishnavas who are an ocean of mercy. Oh, there's Supriya Didi, Dandavat, and she is in Changsha or Changsha. All right, she's in Shanghai in China, Dandavat, good. She's expanding her preaching capacity. Kamalini in Ukraine, Dandavat, Balaram Das in Moscow. All right, we'd like to offer obeisance. There's Pavan Krishna, he's here. Vancha kalpa drubhyascha, kripa sindhu bevacha, patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. They're not only kripa sindhu, ocean of mercy, they're also kalpa vriksha, fulfilling the desire of all the devotees. Hare Krishna, my dandavats to one and all. We'll see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.